welcome you. Tune into News Now with me, Ankita Saxena. Well, breaking as of now is Commerce Minister team that has reached Washington D.C. India-U.S. will resume talks on trade agreement and chief negotiator is likely to join the talks on Wednesday. My colleague Sumita Karir is now joining us live on phone lines with the details of this visit. Sumita, take us through the details of this visit and what does it entail?
Hi, Ankita. As you rightly stated, India and the United States have resumed trade negotiations in Washington. It was just last Thursday or Friday, was when a government official said that there will be a trade team that will go from India to Washington. In fact, these talks reportedly are expected to span at least 4 days. They mark a renewed attempt to break the deadlock that has persisted despite months of back-channel discussions. In fact, an official was telling us just last week that negotiations with the Donald Trump administration are going on virtually as well. And India's chief negotiator, Rajesh Agrawal, is reportedly expected to join the delegation on Wednesday, which is the fresh round, will kickstart. And this comes shortly after the two sides actually failed to seal a deal, failed to reach an agreement for, a long impending mini deal that both sides were looking to achieve by the earlier set deadline of July 9th by Donald Trump. Remember, the key sticking points as far as both the sides are concerned remain unresolved. They are over agriculture, dairy access, digital trade rules. And Indian negotiators, remember, they're holding their ground, particularly with respect to these red line issues, with respect to agriculture, which is a politically sensitive issue for India as well. And India does not want any import of GM crops as well. And it is putting a very firm stance with the U.S. administration when it comes to these trade talks. But will both sides be able to arrive at a deal this time around? Will there be any progress, given that there have been challenges and they have fresh challenges that have emerged just in the past few days, given that Donald Trump stated that there will be an additional 10% tariff on BRICS countries that are supporting de-dollarization or anti-America policies. That's what he said. Then, of course, he's put additional tariffs on copper as well. What kind of an impact will these have? And, whether the United States will agree to a significant duty reduction, that remains to be seen.
Thank you so much for giving us the details for that. But let's move on to that. But I'll ask you to stay back, Sumita, and shed some light on the fact that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also departed for China on Sunday for high-level discussions. And this is his first trip since ties soured after 2020 Galwan clash. And during the visit, Jaishankar will hold talks with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Now, following the meeting in Beijing, Jaishankar will travel to Tianjin for SCO Council of Foreign Ministers meeting scheduled for 15th of July. Take us through the details of that as well, Sumita.
That's right. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who's on a visit to China, recently held a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Earlier in the day, he also held a meeting with the VP of China as well. And both the meetings actually touched upon the issue of trade. In his meeting with Wang Yi, the External Affairs Minister in a statement stated that it's essential in the context of the fact that India and China are neighboring countries and are major economies of the world. Restrictive trade practices and roadblocks should be avoided. The other thing that he touched upon was on the issue of a zero tolerance approach to terrorism, which he said and he hoped that China would uphold. And of course, he also called for trade issues and border issues to be resolved. In fact, in the context of trade, he also made a statement that competition should never ever become a conflict. Remember, these comments are coming in the context of several developments that have happened from the Chinese side. Remember, China put export controls on export of rare earth materials, which have had quite a significant impact on industries globally, but in India as well.
最近我们两个有几次机会在国际会议场合见面，进行战略沟通。我们期待接下来我们能够定期的在彼此的国家进行这样的沟通。
This year, we are marking the 75th year of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. We appreciate that the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has also resumed after a gap of 5 years. I thank the Chinese side for their cooperation on this matter.
这年两国庆祝建交75周年，我们很高兴时隔5年后恢复朝圣。我感谢中方的合作。
Excellency, we have made good progress in the past 9 months for the normalization of our bilateral relations. It is the result of the resolution of friction along the border and our ability to maintain peace and tranquility there. This is the fundamental basis of our mutual strategic trust and for smooth development of bilateral relations. It is now incumbent on us to address other aspects related to the border, including de-escalation.
阁下，在过去9个月，我们在双边关系正常化方面取得了进展，这是解决边境摩擦，以及我们能够在那里维持和平与安宁的结果。这是战略互信和双边关系顺利发展的基本的基础。现在我们有责任应对边境相关的其他问题，包括降温。
As neighboring nations and major economies in the world today, there are various facets and dimensions of our ties. Measures towards normalizing our people-to-people exchanges can certainly foster mutually beneficial cooperation. It is also essential in this context that restrictive trade measures and roadblocks are avoided. I hope to discuss these issues with you in further detail.
作为邻国和今天世界上主要经济体，我们的双边关系有很多方面。正常化人文交流的措施一定能够促进互利合作。这个背景下，需要避免限制性的贸易措施和障碍。我想进一步的讨论这些问题。
Stable and constructive ties between India and China are not only to our benefit, but that of the world as well. This is best done by handling relations on the basis of mutual respect, mutual interest, and mutual sensitivity. We have also earlier agreed that differences should not become disputes, nor should competition ever become conflict. On this foundation, we can continue to develop our ties along a positive trajectory.
中国和印度之间稳定和建设性的关系，不仅对两国有利，也有利于整个世界。最好的做法是在相互尊重、相互利益和相互敏感的基础上处理双边关系。我们已经同意，分歧不应该成为争端，竞争也永远不应该成为冲突。在这个基础上，我们现在可以继续沿着积极的方向发展双边关系。
Excellency, our meeting today will also include an exchange of views on global and regional issues. Tomorrow, we will be meeting in the format of the SCO, whose primary mandate is to combat terrorism, separatism, and extremism. This is a shared concern, and India hopes that zero tolerance for terrorism will be strongly upheld.
阁下，今天我们还会就全球和地区问题交换意见。明天我们在上合组织。
All right, that is EAM Jaishankar's visit to China and what's transpiring, and this is the first visit, like we mentioned, to China ever since the 2020 showdown between India and China.